All right, for everyone in San Francisco, this is a really important update on Mpox in our city. Let's get right into what you need to know.
So, a more severe strain of Mpox is now in San Francisco. What does that actually mean for you? Well, we're going to break it all down and, most importantly, talk about the really simple things you can do to stay safe.
Okay, so here's the headline. The San Francisco Department of Public Health has confirmed the very first case of what they're calling Clade I Mpox. Let's take a closer look at this specific situation. So, who was affected? It was an unvaccinated adult here in SF who had been in close contact with someone who traveled internationally. And while they did need to be hospitalized, the really good news is that they are now improving. Just so we're all on the same page, let's do a quick refresher on what Mpox actually is. It's a viral illness, and the things you really want to look out for are symptoms like fever, swollen lymph nodes, and just feeling really tired. That's often followed by a rash that can look kind of like pimples or blisters. Okay, so this really helps break it down. Think of it like this. There are two main types, or clades. Clade II is the one we saw during the 2022 outbreak, and yeah, it's still floating around at low levels. But this new case is Clade I, which historically can be a bit more severe. But, and this is the most important part, the Jynneos vaccine works against both of them. That's huge. And that leads us right to a key message from our own health officer here in SF, Dr. Susan Phillip. She's making it really clear. This isn't about panic. It's about seeing this as a critical reminder to get vaccinated, especially if you're in a higher risk group. Now, this next point is probably the most important thing for most of us to hear. Officials are stressing that even with this more severe strain here, the risk to the general public is still low. I'll say that again. The risk is low. This isn't being seen as a widespread threat. So you might be asking, who should be paying the most attention then? Well, looking at the data from past outbreaks, officials have seen that most cases have been among gay and bisexual men, other men who have sex with men, and transgender people who have sex with men. For these groups, the CDC is calling the risk low to moderate. Knowing how it spreads is, of course, the key to stopping it. And it's pretty straightforward. Mpox mainly spreads through close skin-to-skin contact. That can include sexual contact, but it's not limited to it. The great news in all of this is that we have a really powerful tool to protect ourselves. Public health experts are all saying the same thing. The 2-dose Jynneos vaccine is our absolute best defense. It's incredibly effective at stopping you from getting infected in the first place, and it dramatically reduces the risk of getting seriously ill. Okay, so how do you actually get the vaccine? In San Francisco, they've made it pretty simple. First, just try calling your regular doctor. A lot of local pharmacies have it available too. And hey, if you don't have insurance, no worries. Just visit the city's Mpox resources page online, and they'll help you find a spot.
Now, I know what a lot of you might be thinking, especially if you got that first shot back in 2022. What if you never got around to the second one? Do you have to start the whole thing over?
And the answer is a big, simple no. You do not need to restart. The official advice is just to get that second dose as soon as you can. It's definitely not too late to get fully protected. All right, let's just recap the current vaccine recommendations to make it crystal clear. To be fully vaccinated, you need 2 doses. That's it. And if you've already had both shots, right now, officials are not recommending any boosters.
Okay, but what if you do see a rash or have other symptoms? What then? The guidance is super clear. Step 1. Call a healthcare provider right away to get tested. Step 2, and this is just as important, let any recent partners know so they can keep an eye on their own health. It's all about stopping the spread.
And this brings us to a final, really timely piece of advice from Dr. Phillip. Think about it. Summer is right around the corner. That means travel, parties, festivals, all sorts of big events. So she's saying now is the perfect time to make sure you're protected.
So it all comes down to this one question, especially with all the fun summer events and travel coming up. Are you fully protected? It's a great time to just take a second, think about your own situation, check your vaccine status, and make sure you have a plan to stay safe and healthy out there.